So imagine this, you're deep in some hidden canyon, the sunlight barely cutting through, and all you see are these faded, intricate carvings on the rock walls.
Ancient petroglyphs, right? The earliest echoes of human expression.
Exactly. I once photographed this site in Nevada. It's like these markings were a voice frozen in stone. It kind of hit me, like these weren't just random doodles. They meant something, told a story.
And they weren't just stories, they were identity, cohesion, like the roots of a language before we even had words.
Right? And people back then, they didn't have text messages or tweets to leave a record of their lives. It was all passed on visually through symbols carved or painted, probably after a long hunt. It's almost like their version of, I don't know, TikTok, but way more permanent.
Except their audience was probably gods or future generations rather than followers or subscribers. But you're onto something. Symbols evolved as a bridge. They turned emotions and human experiences into something larger. Think of hieroglyphics or cuneiform.
Yeah. It's fascinating when you think about cuneiform, using simple shapes to record trade, laws, even heroes. It's worlds apart, and yet it's, well, kind of the same as how we document everything online today. Humans have always wanted to leave a mark to say, hey, I existed.
And that impulse to document, to communicate beyond the moment, it built communities. It passed knowledge, shaped cultural identities. Early civilizations formed around these shared symbols, and from there, structures of power, governance, traditions, all tied back to communication.
Yeah, it's like the more complex our systems of expression got, first pictures, then symbols, then language, right? The more we could build. For them, it wasn't just survival anymore. It was about creating a culture, leaving history behind.
And of course, every leap forward in communication, every painted wall, carved tablet, it didn't just shape who they were, it carved out who we are now.
And isn't it wild how each leap in how we express ourselves brought us closer together? From chiseled stone to inked papyrus, fast forward a few thousand years, and boom, the printing press. It's like someone hit the turbo button on how we share ideas.
Johannes Gutenberg, the mid 1400s, his invention fundamentally altered how information moved through societies.
Totally. And it wasn't just about like making books cheaper, right? It was a full on game changer. Suddenly, people, regular people, could access ideas, they could read themselves. That had to freak out the folks in power.
Well, yes, it disrupted established authority. Knowledge, once held tightly by the elite clergy monarchs, became attainable for broader groups. And with that came critical thinking, individual empowerment. You could say it even laid the groundwork for movements like the Reformation or the Enlightenment.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can you imagine what it felt like to hold a pamphlet back then, knowing that what you were reading could shake the foundations of society? It's wild. And then over time, it's like every step in tech just made it faster. Telegraphs, Morse code, all of it kept shrinking the world.
The telegraph really stands out here. For the first time, people could transmit messages almost instantly across vast distances. It sped up not only communication, but also commerce and even conflict. Wars were fought differently because commanders had real time updates. Nations could coordinate resources with precision.
Right. And on the flip side, though, that speed also made it way harder to control what people knew. You had this interconnected world starting to emerge where information moved so fast that traditional gatekeepers, the printing presses of power, couldn't contain it.
And that's where we see a philosophical shift. If Gutenberg's press enabled Enlightenment thinkers to question authority and explore human rights, the telegraph took it further. It sped up humanity's collective consciousness, linking ideas and people in unprecedented ways. The world started to feel smaller, more accessible.
That's the thing, yeah. It's not just tech, it's this ripple effect on how societies work, how we connect or challenge each other. And I feel like every leap from the press to the telegraph to what came next, it's almost like the same pattern repeating, but faster and bigger each time.
It is a pattern. Each new mode of communication redefines the structure of power, the accessibility of knowledge, and the way we perceive information itself. Gutenberg's press made room for philosophers like Voltaire and Rousseau. So many pivotal revolutions, cultural, political, trace back to those printed texts.
And that's why it's crazy to think how we've gone from carving symbols in caves to like printing ideas with ink and then sending all of that zipping through wires. Each one shifts the way we live, the way we think, you know? So, from chipping symbols on stone to the telegraph shrinking the globe, it's clear every leap in communication has been huge. But nothing quite compares to what came next, the internet. It didn't just speed things up, it rewrote the rule book on, well, everything.
It certainly did. The internet transformed communication into something instantaneous, global, and decentralized. Suddenly, anyone could be both an author and an audience.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Without the internet, you wouldn't have people live streaming protests or breaking stories directly from their phones. Entire movements, like, say, the Arab Spring, found their voice through platforms like Twitter.
And those voices echo far beyond their origins, don't they? Social media has become the new public square, a chaotic, democratized forum where narratives are constantly evolving.
Yeah, but that chaos? It's a double edged sword. Misinformation spreads just as fast, or faster. I've seen it out in the field. Sometimes a story gets twisted before the truth even has a chance to surface.
True. Technology amplifies both the good and the bad. While citizen journalism shines a light on overlooked stories, the sheer speed of information creates challenges for discerning fact from fiction. It's a digital arms race in real time.
Totally. I remember this one time I was covering a flood in Bangladesh, and local social media posts actually beat international aid teams to the hardest hit neighborhoods. Ordinary people with phones, they saved lives. But on the flip side, rumors made everything harder to coordinate. It's wild how fragile and powerful communication has become.
It's fascinating, really. The internet laid the groundwork for more interconnected societies, yet it also fragments perspectives. See, we're more globally aware, sure, but also more isolated within our echo chambers.
Exactly. And then you toss in AI and VR, and it's like we're stepping into an entirely new dimension. I mean, VR, when done right, it's not just storytelling, it's like living the story. You forget you're an observer.
Immersive technology changes the stakes, no doubt. And imagine harnessing that for education or conflict resolution, or how AI generated content is reshaping journalism itself. It's not just about telling human stories anymore, it's about how our tools are starting to shape the stories for us.
And shaping us in the process. That's the thing, right? We're not just using these platforms, we're being shaped by them. From stone walls in caves to AI assisted narratives, it feels like a full circle moment, but on a whole different scale.
You're absolutely right. What stayed constant is our need to connect, to tell stories. The tools have changed. Yes, even the speed, the range, but at its core, communication is still about bridging the gap between individuals.
And that's kind of beautiful, isn't it? I mean, chaotic, sure, but beautiful. Like, no matter how advanced the tech gets, it's still just us trying to understand one another.
Exactly. And maybe that's the ultimate narrative. Through every leap forward, humanity stays a storyteller. It's how we navigate chaos, make sense of tragedy, and celebrate our shared experiences. Stories connect us even now in an age where so much divides us by much.
Couldn't have said it better. And that's what makes covering these stories, living them, worth it. It's that reminder that we're all in this together. Different tools, same message.
On that note, my friend, I'd say we've come full circle from the symbols on cave walls to this dazzling digital age. It's been quite the ride.
For sure. And that's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.